Hello and welcome back to the channel, and in this video I want to talk about my favourite thing in the entire world. Saving money.
Excuse me?
My second favourite thing in the entire world. Let's just say something that's very dear to me anyway, and again that is saving money. And for this specific video it's talking about these things, smart plugs. Now these aren't anything new or unique, they've been around a long time. But essentially what they can do now is give you information, because a lot do energy monitoring, and that essentially means that if I plug this TV into here and then into the wall, it will tell me how much energy that TV is using now, over the last hour, week, day, month, year. Essentially it gives you data, and with data comes the ability to change patterns or to spot patterns, to change your behaviour, to then use less energy and therefore save more money. I've gone for these specific GivEnergy smart plugs that have just gone out because they integrate with my home energy system, and that makes every sense in the world. But a lot of these do this sort of energy monitoring things. It's nothing new, like I said before, but it is all about that data. That is the key to this whole endeavour, and how I've used that data to save genuinely now over the next 12 months well over £300 off my predicted energy bill. I'll also show you the app, because everything's integrated into one place now. That's why I went for the GivEnergy ones, because I can see what my house is doing, what my solar panels is doing, what my battery's doing, if I'm exporting energy. And now with these, a far more granular approach. So a smart meter is a good thing, for example, in showing you how much energy your house is using right now. So let's say it's using 500 watts. That's great, but what makes up that 500 watts? Right, let me turn that off so you can see it better. But essentially, this is the GivEnergy app. You can see what my solar panels are doing, my house, the grid, the battery. If I click on that menu there, you can see I've got a smart plug part to the app there. Oh, and an EV charger one, which I don't have yet, but the integration is coming. And on this, you can see what my energy summary is. So top left, energy today. That's how much energy the smart plug devices or anything plugged into them is using. And then there's the house load beneath that, so that's what it's using right now. 131 watts of the 366 the house is using is effectively something that's using the smart plug. So that's that, and as you can see, I've grouped some of the smart plugs, so living room, appliances, devices, and I've left the aquarium one separate. That's only using 24 watts at the moment, but it uses about 360 odd when the heater kicks in, and that's what I want to start with. So if I click on aquarium, you can see there how much it's using now as before, total consumption as of today, yesterday 7 days and the past 30 days. Now ignore the past 30 days one, because I reset the data a few weeks ago and I haven't got a complete 30 days yet. So over the last 7 days that aquarium has used 34.42 kilowatt hours worth of energy, which is a lot. In a previous video I figured out that that aquarium alone is responsible, before the heat pump anyway, for around a quarter of my entire house usage. So if I go to the graph here, and I'll switch that to weekly, so you can see each day it's using about 2.2 kilowatt hours worth of energy just to run the fish tank. Now unfortunately, because I'm a clot and I did reset the data, I can't show you what I'm about to show you, but what happened was the heater essentially malfunctioned, or it did something wrong to the point of it was using more energy. It was heating the water up hotter than I wanted. It was going at about 28.5 degrees instead of 26. Now, although the fish were fine with that, although it was different for them, that meant that I was using about 0.8 kilowatt hours worth of energy more per day. So the smart plugs measuring that data, these things, that made me, or rather give me the ability to spot a pattern. It uses 2.2 per day on average, and then all of a sudden it's using about 3 kilowatt hours. It just jumped up for no reason and was consistent. Yes, before anybody mentions it, as a fish keeper, I should have had a separate thermometer on there. I used to do, but I never replaced it when that stopped working, so that's my fault. Doesn't sound like a lot of energy, doesn't it? 0.8, well, it's a bit, but it's not a huge amount. But if I figure out how much a year that is costing me, I think then you'd think it'd be worth it. Let me just get my calculator. 0.8 kilowatt hours at 34 pence, which is the current price cap until April. that equals 27.2 pence per day, which is essentially just shy of £100. £100 a year because of a faulty heater, essentially. Now I know 100 quid over a year doesn't sound like a lot, but it accumulates. As the phrase goes, look after the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves. I prefer look after the pounds and the pounds will take care of themselves, but you get my point. Every little helps. Now let me give you another example of how I've saved, well, quite a bit more actually. And I've been doing this for years without realising. The Yorkshireman in me is dying because for years I've been wasting energy and I've not spotted it. I'm quite annoyed with myself. This is what we call the cinema room. And I know that sounds ultra posh, but believe me, it's not. This wall is just painted. The settee came from Gumtree for 120 quid, £250 projector, a few hundred quid for audio equipment, and you got yourself a cinema room. It's in essentially a room behind the garage with no windows or radiators or anything like that. And well, it's better than storage. But that's not what I'm talking about now. What I'm talking about is what has been consuming the energy I didn't realise. See, in this homemade unit here, behind this speaker fabric is all the audio equipment, apart from the two speakers anyway. So you've got a speaker either side, you've got a centre speaker, and crucially, you've got the amp and an active subwoofer. I didn't realise, and we've had this room up and running for about 5 years now, but I didn't realise that on standby, and I think it's mainly the sub rather than the amp, they use 50 watts just sat there doing nothing. Let me just do the calculations. 50 watts over 24 hours at the current price cap of 34p per kilowatt hour is 40.8 pence per day. Do some more calculations. So 40.8 pence per day for a year is 100, well, let's just say just shy of £150 for nothing. £150 for something to sit there on standby for 5 years. I'm having heart palpitations just thinking about it again. Now I know it's not cost me that over the, 5 years ago, electricity wasn't that expensive, but at today's rates, the energy that's wasted, the cost, is more than what this room cost us to build. I mean, that's ridiculous. Without the smart plugs, I would not have spotted that data, that trend, thinking, what is that using? But oh my God. And this is what I'm talking about. Forget this specific example, okay? Me going, oh, my cinema room is costing me a lot of money to run in energy. That sounds extremely elitist, but again, believe me, forget the example. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the information that the smart plugs have given me, and just a simple change. Turn them off when we're not using them. So with the simple addition of a smart plug, £150 a year, better off. That's it. I mean, that's the best example I can give you. And there'll be people out there that have done this already. Brilliant. You've already got as optimized as you can be. But I have noticed, even though I've gone around my house with an energy meter to see what each one's using, historical data does give you that bit of extra information to then go that one step further. Something a little bit more relatable now. For the first time in about a decade, we've got a games console, an Xbox Series S, and why not? But there are two options when you set this up. You can have it so it goes off standby, if you like, when you turn it off. So when you press the off button, it goes to traditional standby, and that uses about 0.5 watts. Or you can set it so it's like an instant on. But the difference between that instant on and proper standby, if you will, is it uses about 12 watts when it's on the instant on, as opposed to the 0.5 when it's off, if that makes sense. Now you might think that's a bit penny pinching really, isn't it? What, 11, 12 watts, whoop-de-doo. But that equates to the equivalent, because it's on 24/7, of £37 a year. Now you might not be bothered for that because you might want the convenience of letting a game download or whatever it is you use it for. But how many people out there, and I'm looking at the dads now because I know what dads are like, will not have even thought to look at what the kids set the Xbox as, and it's on the instant on because it's quicker loading. Who wouldn't want that? That's £37 a year. If you've got two Xboxes, well, there you go. You might not be bothered for that. You might say, well, I prefer the convenience of downloading something hours in advance as opposed to saving that bit of money. But again, it gives us that information to allow us to have that choice, Do you want to save £37 or £70 a year if you've got a couple of consoles? Yes? Oh, well, there you go then. Here it is. So there we have it. These little things have given me geeky data, and quite frankly, and don't deny this, there's people out there just like me who would have these even if they saved nothing just because of the data it spews out. You know who you are. So let me know if you've got these things. Have you got an energy monitoring smart plug? Have you got, well, lots of them? Have they given you any inklings or data to save money or save energy? Have they spotted a pattern that you thought, oh, hang on a minute, didn't realise that? Well, thank you for watching. If you want to become a member at an inflation-busting 99p per month for members-only videos, early videos, and upcoming members-only live streams, then yeah, click the join button next to the subscribe button. And if not, click the subscribe button, the bell icon so you get notifications, click the like button. What else did YouTubers say? Just mash anything, quite frankly. If you see a button on YouTube on this page, just click it. So anyway, thank you for watching. See you soon, and have a good Halloween, I guess this has gone out by.